Avoiding biased language. In the business world, you are never speaking in a vacuum. You're always speaking to somebody, some audience, whether you are writing a letter or you are delivering a presentation. Your choice of language depends upon who your audience are, whom you are talking to, or whom you are writing for. So, recognizing your audience is very important in order to be an effective communicator. So your audience could be high-tech audience, meaning those audience who are experts in their field. For them, you will require a different type of a special type of a language. Then there could be low-tech audience. There could be layman audience who do not know anything about your area of specialty. There could be multiple audience, which means that they are a combination of high, low, or layman. And then there could be multicultural audience. Perhaps you are speaking to people who don't belong to your culture, and then you would have to address people who are diverse in as far as gender, race, ethnicity, nationality, religion, age, and departments are concerned. So your language should reflect that you recognize whom you are talking to and what are their needs for communication. So audience recognition will help you to choose your language. You will have to choose the language according to whom you are talking to. Even in normal speech, you always try to modify your speech according to whom you are talking to, according to the status of that person, according to his or her educational level, according to his age, and so on. So in business communication as well, it helps you in choosing the right type of language. Then it helps you to organize your communication. How will you organize it according to importance? Whether you're going to state your objective straight away in the beginning of the communication, or you are going to build up your argument and state your objective at the end of the communication. Biased language also means that you avoid language which shows the age of the person you are talking to, his physical limitations, or his gender. So you do not refer to these three things when you are communicating with them. So it helps you to organize your communication accordingly. It helps you, as we said, in the choice of your language, and then it points to reader benefit. Because knowing your audience, you will be able to emphasize what benefit will the reader get if he or she does or listens to what you are saying in your communication. First of all, ageist language. This has to do with the type of communication which reflects that you are conscious about the age of the people you are talking to. So instead of saying old people, which will be a bit derogatory, you can use retired. Instead of saying old folks, you can use over 70. And every culture has got its own way of referring to old age, some of which is perhaps derogatory. So you have to avoid such derogatory words in your communication. For example, in this image, the word elderly teacher is used, and in the after modified version, you can see that has been avoided. Professor Jones, a state university teacher, so totally avoided to refer to the age. Then you should try to avoid language for disability. So instead of saying handicap, you can say disability. And any euphemism can be offensive reference to, or any alluded reference to that disability can cause offense to the person. And you should avoid reference to the disability of people. So as in this image, you can see that Debbie Brown, a blind market researcher. This refers to the fact of her disability. So in the modified version, it is just Debbie Brown, a market researcher. Then avoid sexist language. Sexist language means when you are referring specifically to exclude people on grounds of their sex, so which is against gender. So we know that women are a major part of the workforce of, and in modern times they are equal. They are holding managerial jobs as well as all sorts of managerial positions. So if you use sexism or sexist language, it creates problems through unequal omission. When you omit referring to women, unequal treatment, stereotyping, or your choice of words. So ignoring women in your communication and treating them as secondary, you express sexist sentiments. Following examples will show how sexist remarks and their non-sexist alternatives are available for you to use. For example, in the first one, the CEO of Yahoo is a woman named Carol, and modified to the CEO of Yahoo is Carol. So simply not using the word woman. And in the next one, the biased is the poor woman could no longer go on the exhausted men. So unbiased would be the exhausted men and women could no longer go on. So lumping them together and not creating a separation. Stereotyping means that you imply in your communication that certain jobs are for men and other jobs are for women. So, if you convey such an impression, then you are indulging in stereotyping. For example, if you imply that management posts are all held by men or that secretarial jobs are held by women, so you are indulging in stereotyping. For example, here it is current tax regulations allow a head of household to deduct for support of his children. So this shows that the head of household can only be a man, whereas after modification, current tax regulations allow a head of household to deduct for child support. So simply omitting that word. So one should always also try to omit the gender tagged nouns or pronouns. For example, avoiding pronouns like his or him, which are masculine, and avoiding nouns like mankind, manpower, chairman, which are also gender tagged.